Dear learner, in the first semester of this program you must have developed a fair idea about basics and principles of psychology as a subject area. In the fourth semester, one of the courses that you will study is Statistical Methods and Psychological Research. The main objective of this course is to acquaint learners with basics of psychological research and statistics and to introduce the learners to psychological testing. Thus, in this course we will cover psychological research as well as statistical methods. To provide an overview of this course, the course structure is divided into 4 blocks. Block I. In the very first block of this course we will introduce research in psychology. The block is divided into 2 units, Unit 1 that is titled Introduction to Research in Psychology and Unit 2 is titled Introduction to Sampling. Unit 1 will mainly focus on the definition, goals, principles of psychological research as well as the ethical issues in psychological research. The deductive and inductive methods will also be discussed. Further, the statement of the problem and formulation of hypotheses will also be explained. The unit will also cover descriptive research, hypothesis testing, one-tailed, two-tailed tests and errors in hypothesis testing. Constructs, variables and operational definition of variables will also be highlighted in the unit. In Unit 2, sampling and sampling techniques will be covered. Sample can be described as the group of individuals who participate in the research, and sampling can be described as the process of taking a sample from the population. There are various sampling techniques that are used in order to draw a sample, and that as well will be discussed in this unit. Block 2. Block 2 constitutes 4 units, Unit 3, 4, 5 and 6. Unit 3 focuses on the quantitative research methods and Unit 4 will focus on qualitative research methods. Unit 5 will cover observation, interview and case study, and Unit 6 will discuss about psychological testing. Research can be categorized into quantitative and qualitative research. And understanding what these categories are and their methods is important being a student of psychology. Thus, in Unit 3, we will discuss in detail about what is quantitative research and will also focus on the characteristics, strengths, limitations and methods of quantitative research. In Unit 4 we will focus on the qualitative research. In this unit we will discuss the meaning of qualitative research with a focus on its history and philosophy and characteristics. Difference between quantitative and qualitative research will also be discussed. We will then explain the methods of qualitative research. Lastly, the unit will focus on mixed approach research, under which the characteristics, uses and limitations of mixed approach research will be discussed. Unit 5 in this block is titled Observation, Interview and Case Study, and these 3 methods will be covered in this unit. The types, advantages and limitations of observation and interview will be discussed along with the characteristics, advantages and limitations of case study. In the last unit of this block, Unit 6, Psychological Testing will be discussed. Besides the definition and nature of psychological testing, characteristics of a good psychological test will also be covered. The unit will also explain the 2 important concepts, namely, reliability and validity. Types of tests will also be explained. The unit will also highlight standardization and norms in the context of psychological testing. This unit is also important when you carry out practicals and will serve as a framework when you learn how to administer psychological tests. Block 3. The third block is titled Statistical Methods I and is further divided into 5 units. In the very first unit of this block, Unit 7, you will learn about what statistics is and also its role in research. Limitations and misinterpretations of statistics will also be covered in this unit. Further, this unit will also introduce you to the scales of measurement and will focus on 2 significant terms, descriptive and inferential statistics. Unit 8 will focus on the data organization and graphical representation, which is important when you have raw data with you and want to make it meaningful. The unit will cover subtopics like classification and tabulation of qualitative and quantitative data, construction of frequency distribution, cumulative frequency distribution, percentile and percentile ranks, and graphical representation of data. Unit 9 is about the measures of central tendency and will cover concept of central tendency of data, the different measures of central tendency, namely, mean, median and mode, their properties, advantages and limitations and their computation. Unit 10 is titled Measures of Variability and deals with the concept of variability in data, the different measures of variability, viz., range, quartile deviation, average deviation, standard deviation and variance, their properties, advantages and limitations. Unit 11 will deal with the computation of various measures of variability. Block 4. The fourth block is titled Statistical Methods 2 and will include 3 units, 12, 13 and 14. Unit 12 will focus on the concept of correlation, its direction and magnitude, its properties, uses and limitations, and Unit 13 will discuss the computation of coefficient of correlation with the help of Pearson's product moment coefficient of correlation and Spearman's rank order correlation. The last unit of this block is Unit 14, which will cover the concept of probability, the concept, nature and properties of normal probability distribution, standard scores, concept, properties and computation and divergence from normality, namely, skewness and kurtosis. It is very important that you read all the units very carefully and try to understand the subject matter. Knowledge of statistics is important in psychology as the same can be applied to carry out data analysis while carrying out quantitative research. Block 5. Block 5 of this course mainly focuses on practical. As stated earlier, this course is of 6 credits, the theory is of 4 credits and the practical is of 2 credits. In practical, the learner is expected to administer any one Indian standardized tool for measuring interest, for example, vocational interest inventory, or aptitude, for example, differential aptitude test, or attitude, for example, social distance. Some suggestions and tips to enhance your study of this course are as follows. 1. Ensure that your basic concepts, given in this course, are clear, whether it is the term psychological research, statistics or terms mean, median, mode, normal probability curve, etc. If you don't understand the terms, read again. The first unit is a foundation to rest of the units, so ensure that you read and learn this unit first. 2. Another important aspect is to understand the formulae and also the steps in computing various statistical techniques. These have been discussed with the help of examples. Practicing these steps along with the formulae will help you learn them in a better way. 3. Besides the above, you also need to develop an understanding about when to use which technique. For example, when to compute mean, when to compute median, and when to compute Pearson's product moment correlation, and when to compute Spearman's rank order correlation. While reading the unit, try to focus on when a certain statistics technique is computed. 4. Answering the exercises given and check your progress, given in each unit, will help you practice and learn the subject matter and the method for computing various statistical techniques.